Next part, seventh part. The three periods Yapanga Kunagal Gampol and the two message poems Mayur Kisara. After the Gabarian period, the kingdom of Sri Lanka was moved to Yapanga, a rock fortress with an ornamental staircase. However, it is not considered a literary period because of the inability to find the literal works of this period. Then, the Kurunagala period is a literal period that shows many prose trends. However, it is not a developed period of verses. And no poems were written. Traditionally, some critics believe that the Sandapitruda, the poem of the Chandakindra Jataka written by Vilgamula Thero, was a poem of this period. However, it is its language and content reflect the Kandy period, and Punchibandara Sannasgala has widely discussed that phenomenon in his book Sinhala Sahitya Vangsya, the Chronicle of Sinhala Literature. Although the Gampala period in the 40th century was not a very developed era of Sinhala poem, it is important because of the writing of two message poems, Mayura and Kisara. The older Sinhala message poem, such as Saraya in the Anuradhapura period, all Mayura Sandesha in the Anuradhapura period, the Polonnaruwa period, and Bambara Sandesha in the Damadaniya period, discussed by scholars, cannot be seen in the present. Those two books from the Gampala period are the oldest message poems in Sinhala literature which can be seen in the present. The two poets who had used peacock and swan as their messengers have sent royal messages to the receivers. In message poems, the message is not most important thing, and many descriptions such as roads, cities, forests, rivers, water spots, paddy fields, temples, the hero and other important persons, the messenger, etc. are important than the message. Both Mayur and Tisara poets have used many types of meters meaningfully differing from previous poets, and the dance of Mayura Sandesha is a great example. When the messenger goes to present the message to the god Upulvan, he sees the team of dancing ladies there. They start their dancing, spreading the flowers with both their palms on the stage, and the stage becomes beautiful like the sky, which is full of stars because of that. Rata Kamale Peti Siriaki Angili Nela Ekale Karakalnu Tuli Ranga Madale Isimal Adili Pahana Vale Dilinuba Kieli. In this poem, the poet described the gestures of the dancing ladies' hands and their beauty, the beauty of the stage. Then he explains the movements of the legs and the sound of the ringing of their antlers using another meter with sound devices. Sasoba, Nelapada, Padanoma, Kaba, Notaba, Ravudun, Sansala, Salama mean antler. He used a short line meter to describe the representation of their eyes and eyebrows, and he said that expression was like the moving of the lotus because of the water waves. Ralala, Ukula, Lilumatulaya, Netula, Damala, Bamawala. He has said about their bangles and earrings using another meter, and the sound devices such as rhyme and alliteration used by the poet explain the sounds of the jewels worn by those dancing young ladies. Lakal ruang ran bandi lelena atta masitu bandi kiuliyagi suru sandi asana risiya emakandi juga kopula bit udula mini kondala kerasasala emana kala rangana kala watama bala risinopala. Then the poet explained that meaning emana kala ragana kala watame bala risina pala. Don't limit to their face. You can enjoy many body parts of those dancing ladies. Then the poet explains a special step of this dancing, having changed the meter again. One lady jumped very fast into the stage and started to vibrate the upper part of her body. The vibration of her beautiful breast, like golden swans, has been described, and the poet compares her beauty to nymphs. The attractiveness of her singing is also described. Anganaka Rangabas Panataraya, Tanana Tananam Ranatisaraya, Vilasin Anuye Devasaraya, Dungi Manmat Karanaraya, Tanana Tananam Tanatisaraya, Tanamin the breast. Then the second line we can hear only Tanatana 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 Tanana Tananam Ranatisaraya, the vibration of their breast. To describe the most aesthetic situation of this dance, the poet has used a very special meter, Bhujanga Prayata, very famous meter of Sanskrit prosody. This is the first time using Sanskrit meters of Ganachandas, the meters regulated and measured by feet in the practical poetry in Sinhala. The Bhujanga Prayata, which is explained in Sanskrit prosodic books as Bhujanga Prayatam Bhavejais Chaturbit, is meter that use 4 yaganas in one line, is explanative the gait of snakes. Gait of snake. Bhujanga Prayatam Bhavejais Chaturbit, snakes, and that very rhythmic meter is very suitable to describe this situation of dance. Wayannan pedeila tabagi tamanne anginnan ragannan suranyai sitenne mewan runuwan wan lewan kumkiyanne malindun gatte the gatte unne kuhulwan viul denne teunet belumla kamalwan batungi matinne negumla lahopat no patul pelelumla Nivaye dananvan nivaye rangumla vayannan pedeila tabagi taman. Bhujanga Prayata. Those two poems explain the great combination of the players, music, and the dancing and singing of the dancing ladies. Their movements and gestures are explanative of their manner of the angels. The people of the world, having seen their dancing figures, say that even the Ananga, the Cupid, or the god of love, who keep on the hand the flora bow to sting younger people with the ambition of generating love feelings in their mind, may have been their servants. Next two parts together, 8 and 9, Kotte, the golden era of Sinhala poetry. Kotte, in the 15th and 16th centuries, is the last period of classical Sinhala poetry, and many critics consider it is the golden era of Sinhala literature. It is not true. It is if the important poems written in the Anuradhapura period were protected, it would have been the golden era of classical Sinhala poetry. However, this idea can be accepted when considering the present evidence. Kotte was a developed era economically. Although agricultural activities mainly developed in the previous kingdoms of Sri Lanka, agriculture and foreign trade developed during this period. The nearness of this city to Colombo Fort was the reason for the development of foreign trade. That economic development was the significant reason for the development of literature. The kings such as Parakrama VI have supported establishing and maintaining monasteries and traditional Buddhist universities. During this period, some Indian students such as Ramachandra Kahibharati, the famous poet, came to Sri Lanka to study Indian language and other subjects. That is an evidence of the educational development in Sri Lanka during this period. King Parakramabahu 6 reigned Sri Lanka for 55 years. The most significant era of the Kotte period. At the end of the Kotte period, the arrival of Portuguese in 1505 was a turning point, not only the classical literature of Sinhala but also all the things of Sri Lankan society. Poets such as the three prominent monks, Vidagam Mahamaitya Thero, Totagamuya Rahula Thero and Vattave Thero, in the Kotte period have added many trends to the Sinhala poetry. They have created a new tradition of poetry as a combination of the Mahakavya tradition, the tradition of Buddhist sermon style and the indigenous tradition of poetry in Sinhala. Kavashekaraya, the grand poem written by Rahula Thero following the plot of the Jataka story Sattubatta, and Guttila Kavya written by Vattave Thero following the plot of Jataka story Guttila are examples of that. The great poets such as Rahula Thero in this period, having gotten only the shadow of Sanskrit poems, have composed poems independently, and this is stanza which explains the childish behaviors of the prince, the Bodhisattvas. The previous birth of Buddha in Kavashekaraya is example. I am not going to sing. I have invited my dear student Liana. Come.
下面是第一首诗了。Tat kekulu palam sulatal sinasilam polen de pastilam Kelly siolang ketulikala.
Okay, thank you. Wait, Philip. Okay, don't go. Stop. The meaning of that, the prattling baby is playing, smearing the dust his overall body, laughing, and his milk teeth showing like flower buds. In this poem, although the poet has got the shadow of the poem Alakshadanta Mukulan Animitta Hasaya in Abhijñāna Shakuntal drama written by the great Sanskrit poet Kalidasa, this is not a translation of that poem, and he has presented his concept independently. The theoretical books for poetry were written in the Dambadaniya era, and the teaching of those books and Sanskrit prosodic and rhetoric books in the education institutions in Kotte period may have been a reason for the development of poetry in this period. On the other hand, because of the many needs of royals, poets have written many different poems. According to Guttila Kavya, the Prime Minister or prominent minister, Honorable Halawatha Jayapala, was the sponsor of the writing of that poem, and Kavashekaraya was written by Rahula Thero as a request of Ulapadiya Devi, the daughter of the King Parakramabahu VI, to present a poetic sermon. Parakumbha Sirita is a poem of praise, the Prasasti, written by an unknown author, praising King Parakramabahu VI. Because of the collection of many songs sung by the royal court, many different musical meters can be seen in it. And this poem explains the influence of Sanskrit and Tamil poetic tradition on the Sinhala verses in that period. Panchamaha Sandesha, the fantastic 5 message poems written in the Kotte period, have been written as the considerations of the needs of the royals. For example, the objective was the Paravi Sandesha, the pigeon message poem written by Rahula Thero, is the finding of a suitable husband to Ulapadiya Devi, the daughter of King Parakramabahu, as a request from the god Upulvan. The objective was for the Salarin Sandesha of the same author is to get son for her who suitable for the kingship of Sri Lanka in the future, and it was requested from the god Vibhishana of Kalaniya. However, there are many interesting descriptions in message poems in this period. Sivapada meter, the 4-line meter of the same syllabic value with rhyme, was this period's very famous metric tradition, and Salini Sandesha has been mainly used the Samudraghosa meter. Samudraghosa or the Samudraghosa meter is explanatory of the singing of the sea, the sound of the sea. In this poem, Rahula Thero describes the historical scene of the Devanna stream, the place that established the current Sri Lankan parliament. Again, I invite my student Liara.
Sedilada tambala Thank you very much. With its red lotus and golden strands, Lake Devanna seems over like a silk graph worn by Lady Jayawardhana. Its swirling stream as her waistfall and the continuous ripples, the graph's pleats. Now I have come to the end of my speech. 10th part, the conclusion of the speech and the discussion with the audience. This speech discussed the landmarks of Sinhala literature and the tradition of criticism. The first evidence for the Sinhala poem is the inscriptions written as verses since the 3rd century BCE, and there is some evidence for the instinct poems of the Anuradhapura era. Secret graffiti in the Anuradhapura era is important evidence of classical Sinhala poetry. The oldest Sinhala poetry books are Modevudavata and Sasadavata, written in the Polonnaruwa era. From the Polonnaruwa period, the grand poem tradition of Sanskrit highly influenced Sinhala poetry, and Kausilamina in the Damadeniya period is an excellent result of that. After the Damadeniya period, the development of Sinhala poetry is not satisfied up to the Kotte period, and only the poems of that period are two message poems, Mayura and Tisara, written in the Kampola period. Kotte is a developed era of Sinhala poetry, and the social and economic background was the reason for it. The critical tradition and the traditions of grammar, prosody and rhetoric in Sinhala have been developed parallelly to the poetry, and Siyabas Takala, Siddharth Sankara and Elsanas Takuna are examples. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor BH, and for that truly fascinating lecture. And we have learned so much about the classical Sinhala and its critical traditions. And now it's time for the Q&A. So if you have a question, and please raise your hand clearly. Oh.
It's such a great pleasure to listen to your lecture, and I have a basic knowledge about the Sinhala classic poetry, and I have some questions about the Kotte dynasty. In the later period of the Kotte dynasty, Sri Lanka faced Portuguese aggression. Was there any anti-aggression poetry during this golden era? Yeah, I want to ask about this because some anti-aggression, because in the later period of the Kotte dynasty, Sri Lanka faced the Portuguese aggression.
Yeah.
So I want to know whether if there are any poetry speaking about the anti-aggression, because as in
clear.
some
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah, after the end of the Kotte period in 1505, the arrival of Portuguese is a turning point of Sri Lankan kingdom, and all the things of Sri Lankan society. After Kotte period, Sitavaka period, the poets such as Alajiwana Mukhavetti have written poems, Subhashita, Kusa Jataka Kavya, etc. After that, Senkadagala and Kandipiri. After that, Colombo, Matara and other modern periods. Colombo is the modern era. In 1850, Colombo was selected as the city of Sri Lanka. That is the modern era of Sinhala literature.
Yeah. That means nearly the modern platform of the poetry, not the classical poetry.
Yeah, clear. Some poets have got ideas of classical poetry. The classical poetry influenced to them for some poets in Kandi and Mathura period, but those are differ from classical poetry, because then, for an example, the Hatan and Ratikavya, those are erotic poems. Ratikavya means the erotic poems. Those are differ from the classical erotic poems.
I see. Thank you very much.
Yeah, especially the Sinhala folk poem start from Kandi period. Folk poem. Yeah.
Yeah, very great platform of the poetry. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question.
How did Buddhism change the way people write stories or poems in classical Sinhala? Can you show us one example?
Very difficult to understand. Pronunciation, please. Yeah.
How did Buddhism change the way people write stories or poems in classical Sinhala?
How to change way?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can understand. Yeah. After the arrival of Portuguese, many people of Sri Lankan society, they changed their religion. For an example, Alagiyawanna Mukhaveti of the Sitavaka period, he was a great poet, great Buddhist poet of Sitavaka period. However, he changed his religion and he became a Catholic person. After that, he wrote a poem, Kustantinu Hatanu. He started this book, Kanni Maria Namadi. He worshipped Catholic concepts in the beginning of this book, Konstantin Hatanu. I think after the colonial era, Sinhala poets, they choose Catholic plots and resources to write poems. And another time, the Tamil plots have been influenced to some Sinhala poets in Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa periods. Those are the changing points of Sinhala poetry.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay. Aliera, come.
I was
I go on.
You said many of the Sinhala writings were lost, but Sinhala literature will never stop.
Yeah.
How did people save those stories and poems over so many years?
Sorry, repeat again. I difficult. First thing is my English is not very good. Second thing is I difficult to understand your pronunciation. Okay.
How did the people save those stories and poems over so many years?
Yeah.
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 Mày xin hơn là xã hay gì rồi mày nô khát đầu vám mà mày tháo cái gì nào bạn? Mày hay luôn một khát.
Hetu. Hetu. Reason. There are many reasons. The first one is the foundation of Sinhala literature is very strong. First one. Second one is the people of Sri Lanka, they love literature. And third one, their literature combined with the religious activities. Example, Jataka Pota and Sadham Ratnavali. Those books, normally they sing after the Buddhist sermons of the temples, especially 4 days and other days. We say not reading but singing. Jataka Pota singing. Here Yatadiya Davasa Baranas Nuara Apamaha Bosatanan Mahanse. The one person, calmful person, the devotee, he is singing this book, and other calmful person, devotees, they hear to that singing. Their literature always connected with the religious activities. The other reason. There are many reasons. Yeah. Okay. You have a question?
No. It seems like Leona is the last question.
Okay. Sometimes maybe I have questions our teachers.
The end of what?
Okay, I have asked questions. Okay.
Yes. Okay. This is. I haven't any questions about this lecture. Okay, but I want to know when we are learning the Sinhala language, we are always talking about the Indian literature, right? And maybe the Indian concept for the Rasasvadya. And so all Sri Lankan people know maybe the Russian Navakatha, okay, in Russian's novel, Russian short story. Not only that, maybe we know about the Gita Maupassant, French, right? But in Indian also the same. Not only that, we know about the Japanese literature also. So, I haven't heard about the Chinese literature in the Sinhala literature in my life. So maybe if you ask who is the best Russian novelist, lot of Sri Lankan know, yes, Leo Tolstoy or other writers. And who is the Indian novelist, films, other things also they are know. But we didn't heard about the Chinese writer or Chinese poetry any time. Do you have some evidence about the Chinese literature and Sri Lankan literature have a connection, or maybe why we are so long, maybe so different? We are very close to the India, we are very close to the Japan, we are very close to the Russia, we are very close to the French, okay? But we didn't talk about the Chinese literature. I need the clarification.
Thank you very much, sir, for your participation and your question. The first point is today my lecture limit to the classical era. In that period, we are unable to find the influence of Chinese, Japanese or other languages. Mainly, we can find only the Indian influence. I think the main reason may be the geographical distance. India is our very close country, no? And the Buddhism came from India, and our first step of the literature was a Buddhist literature. However, I haven't a wide idea about the influence of Chinese, Japanese and other foreign literatures to the Sinhala literature. But sometimes Chinese Beijing opera, the drama writers, the drama directors such as Professor Sarachandra, they got influence from Beijing opera of China. And modern haiku poets, they have got the influence of Japanese poetry tradition. But I am agree with you, we can get more influence and we can develop our literature. But unfortunately, our creators, our authors have limited only to the Indian plots, resources. Yeah, I am agree with you. Other questions?
I think maybe the lecture is finished right now, and let us thank once again our Professor Bihesh. He bring us a brilliant lecture. So let's give a round of applause to Bihesh.
මම හිතන්නේ මම ඒ ටික සිංහලෙන් කියන්නම් අන්තිමට ඉවර සමාප්ත කිරීම. ඉතින් මුලින්ම තුෂාර මිස්ටර් ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා මේ මම ආපු පළවෙනි දවසේ ඉඳලම නේද? මට from the first day I arrived to the Kumbing airport, she has supported me with her now husband, in that period boyfriend. Thank you very much for your all the supports and all the treatments. Then my best friend in the China, Mr. Mendis, Nigamuni Mendis, our Tamil sir. Thank you very much for your participation and all the supports, and Mr. Sugar, the Sinhala teacher of Yunnan University. Before came to the China, he has supported me. I got all the information from him. And our Cambodian sir, thank you for your participation. And my loving all the students, including Chitma, Liaga, and all the students. Thank you very much for your great supports. Okay.
So let's take a photo together.
Sorry? Okay.